Hi everyone and welcome back. There really isn't much of a video today. Apologies, there's a bit of a weird sound from the moped. But the XJ550 is here, this is it. And it's up for sale, and I don't think I really showed people its kind of actual condition. So someone's really looked after this bike over the years. I think I've got a bunch of service history with it. I'm just waiting for Aidan to bring that back. There's no rush, but I think it's got a bunch of service history. The chrome, I talked to people about the chrome, so it's quite hard to see, but there's been some pitting in the past, and you won't easily be able to get rid of that properly. I've just bought some what's it called, this stuff, Autosol. I saw Nat using it. I think Nick probably uses it, although he's got other products as well. And I thought it's kind of what I saw. I think I saw Nat use it on his forks, and what I saw was pretty stunning. They were actually kind of like this to start with, so kind of foggy, and then they went really shiny. So I thought I'll go and grab some today. I've got nothing to do anyway. I always like to feel like I've done something. So that's what I did. I went to Halfords, picked up some of that stuff, and I'm going to give it a bit of a rub down in places. I'm going to try and get the mudguard a bit better. You're not going to get rid of the pitting, but if I can get it a bit better, that'd be great. And then probably a little bit on the downpipes. They're not terrible, they're just kind of aged, but again, they're alright. They've been looked after for years, you can tell. These side crash bars, basically, if it's metal, I'm going to give it a bit of a clean, a touch of a clean, using that Ultrasol stuff. Yeah, so I'm going to try a little bit, just like Nat did, just to kind of confirm what Nat did. So he did a little bit on the fork leg, and it was unbelievable. Now, I would have thought this won't come up particularly clean. So this is going to be really interesting. So I'm going to start with some wheel cleaner, just to see if that does anything at first before we put the actual paste on. Give that a minute. Now, purely out of curiosity, let's see what this Autosol stuff is like. Right, there it is. What do the instructions say? They say polish all metals. Oh, that's informative. I guess rub it on and rub it off. You alright? Right, sorry about that. Lisa came back for her bike. So this is by hand at the moment, guys, because I have got a wheel for the drill, but I wanted to see what it does by hand first. It really does pull off dirt that you think isn't on there. I mean, look, we're going this spot here. Okay, you can see there's no black on it, and you saw that I wiped it down with wheel cleaner. Look, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That is crazy. It must really get in deep, this stuff. Right, let's get a fresh bit of cloth. Let's see if we've achieved anything honestly within like 3 or 4 minutes. The cleaner metal looks the better always. People just prefer it. I think these forks would come out really nicely with a bit of a wet sand and then some of this. Oh, that's nice, that's progress. Like you saw, guys, that was by hand, very quick. Let's have a look at the comparison. So that's quite clean and shiny, and that was really quick and rough by hand, and then that's very dull. So, you know, it makes a difference. Well worth putting a minute or two in to them. And like I said, I've got a drill attachment which will help, but I'm not out here doing this today. This is ridiculous. I just wanted to throw a bit on some parts. Look, the bars, they're a bit yellowy. I just wanted to do a little bit, so that I felt like I did something today. Maybe this metal as well. And I did all that last time, but it doesn't hurt to go over it every now and again. Yeah, so I think I'm going to play with some metal polishing stuff, guys, on a day that's not like this. I've got 1 more week at work, and then I've got next week off, half term, funny enough. So I'm actually I'll get all the drill pieces ready just to make life a bit easier, and we'll get polishing up on this. This is up online for £2 at the moment. Only one person has said it's too high. He said he bought one for 800. I'm sure he said it was a 700, but that's not this bike. This is an XJ550 Maxim. Very, very few in this country because they're American bikes. And I stand by. It's low mileage, it's well looked after, it's got a fair amount of history, it's in great condition, it starts, runs and rides beautifully. So I stand by my price. 2k is what I'm looking for, around that mark. Obviously, if you're a watcher and you're interested, you always get the best deals, you know, always. So if you are, do contact me. Honestly, this is a bike that I wouldn't call this a rescuer bike, actually. I'd call this a running ready survivor bike that's doing great. It's going to start all the time, every time, I'm sure, and it's just going to run and ride, and it will still pull your arms off and give you a smile every time you get on it. Well, thanks for watching this mini video, and I'm gonna go to the bedroom or something. I don't know. I get bored really easily, but this is too cold for me. Hi guys, it's Thursday morning, very cold in London. Man's coming to collect the ZL600 for Steve. Steve's the new owner. I thought I'll warm up the old XJ550 while we're waiting. Yeah, I've got to put it right out at the back there. It's an interesting one. There shouldn't be nerves around sending a bike through courier, but there always is, and it's not about payment, it's not about any of that. It's normally stuff, silly stuff like will I wake up in time, will I miss the man's phone call, will they turn up, because it's all costly. So there's always a bit of anxiety. If you weren't particularly trustworthy as a seller, or the buyer wasn't overly forward with deposits and stuff, then you'd have that worry as well. You'd have to worry about sending a bike off. Steve is part of my the Motorcycle Rescuer Facebook group, which helps, I think, because you can chat and get to know each other a bit more before doing deposits and stuff like that. It's always handy, I think. And also you get to stay in contact in regards to the bike, so we get to see how they're doing. You get to give us a hard time if something goes wrong. It's just one happy spiral. Like I said, it's Thursday at the moment. I've got a few hours off this morning, but in this cold I am not going to be doing any work. But I've got a new wiring loom and a new regulator for this, so a different regulator, same but different. I have actually got, for the little Galera DNA over there, I've bought the crank seals. I think it might need the crank seals replacing, so I've ordered them, and I have not done a set of crank seals. My god, I've probably done it once in my life, maybe twice, but not for 15, 16, 17 years. So that will be an interesting one. What else? We're just waiting on a coolant bottle for Sultan's calf, then we can get rid of that as well. If I was extremely lucky, that would be gone very soon and charging, but well, I'm not holding my breath. That would be gone just to be out of the way. That's going now, which is good news, because it just frees up some room. That would go ideally, although I love it, it's my favourite bike. And then we can just kind of start fresh a little bit. The charity funds are so low. Not only are the charity funds so low, but my funds are so low as well. It just had a bit of a boost through Nat, actually. He gave me some profit from this bike, and I hate taking money from people. I really don't like it. But on this occasion, it's going to help me do something else now. So maybe get a cheap little project, or maybe, you know, like I've done, I've ordered the parts towards maybe getting some of the other stuff done. The other thing I've come up against, well, I found actually through Nick, Nick Motorcycle Man UK. Check out his channel if you haven't seen it yet. But I found a DNA 50 with a running engine from a company that he knows. So I may just order that bike and get it delivered down here and just make one running DNA, and then just sell the rest for parts or something. So we've got all these options coming up, guys. Yeah, so it's good. It's going in the right direction. So this is the key, I think, at the moment. I need to get rid of this moped. It's driving me nuts. That would have been scrapped. No mechanic would have continued to work on that, if I'm being honest, because it costs way more than the bike's worth. So I'd like to ideally actually get it fixed and move it on. That would be the best outcome for me. So yeah, let's get out Steve's bike. It's freezing cold. Let's fire it up, just for a few seconds, just warm it up a touch, and then the man is meant to be here any moment. He said to Steve 8, and he said to me between 8:30 and 9:30. So we're just waiting. It's 8 o'clock now. Now here it is. Here's the beast. Now Steve is not keen on my paint, which is a bit of a shame. Forgot about this little ding. I hope Steve saw that on the video. I think the paint's great. I think it looks wicked. You've got the very shiny, and then you've got the matte effect on the side panel and on the tank there. Not only is it just a matte effect, it's such a solid paint. It's actually really good for the bike, I think. But I'm sure Steve is going to go back to some sort of originality, which is fine. These side panels cost a few pounds, they're not much. Or you can strip that and get it painted. Same with the tank. It's actually very good tank. There's no rust. If you were stripping it and painting it, then you could feel that dent very slightly. That dent was actually from the last removal company, or from that, I'm not sure actually. We'll have to confirm. But something, I think they leaned on each other in the fan. Now what's good at this point is I don't have any concerns about Steve, but you have to be a bit, you know, wary of these companies. So it is kind of important to show the bike, or to have some idea of the bike. So if the bike turned up and it had a huge scratch somewhere, and you've done a film, half an hour before, showing that it just doesn't have that, then their insurance would be accountable for the damage. I explained to Steve that we didn't do any engine polishing, and I kind of stand by that. This is just a working, running bike. This seat cover, Nat, you've done such a great job, mate. It's a stunning seat, that, and it works. And I just sealed all of the exhausts, so they're nice and quiet, which is great. Let me fire this thing up. We'll have a listen at how quiet it is. We'll just make sure it's all kind of doing what it should be doing. The worst thing that could happen now is that it's just too cold for the bike and it doesn't start at all, because I'd hate to be sending a bike up to Steve with a dead battery. If that had happened, I would have chucked the battery on charge before putting it back in, but I'm sure it will fire. It started firing with a little choke, guys. Steve, the choke is down here. The choke is here on this ring fork. It started in seconds there, guys, so that's fine. I don't want to do too much. I just wanted to make sure nothing. And that's it, guys. That is for my peace of mind. I just wanted to make sure, for my peace of mind, that there was no issue. Now, I don't think this has an off. It's on reserve. So there's no off. But things like petrol lines can rattle loose. These are pretty tight, but these are the things on that you just need to be wary of. Again, I've delivered bikes to people in the past, and one of them lines has come off, and there's fuel in the fan, and then people think you're delivering crap. So there are just some things to be aware of during transportation. But honestly, there's not many bikes that I find hard to let go of. And if you'd asked me about this bike 6 months ago, I would have hated it. But honestly, this is one of my favourite bikes now. I know Steve has his eye on Nat's XS 650, so the Boomerang Kawasaki could come back at some point. I don't think me on that would have an issue with that. I think if this bike came back a third time, I think one of us would have to keep it for a year. I'm sure we'd have to. I don't know, just because it kind of wants to be. It's a YouTube bike. It's a brilliant bike. It's Nat's Yard's bike, and he did a wonderful job. That's it, Steve. Your bike's on your way, mate. On your way? On its way to you. Nice guys, actually, very friendly. I hope you enjoy it. Keep us updated on Facebook.